All right, y'all. So it's time that we have a little ponderosa about married to medicine. Okay. All right. So we're discussing season 10, episode 9. It's called Good Vibrations. Okay. Now, I just got to be honest with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably going to give this maybe a 7.5 to an 8. I don't know. I think that we're venturing into this middle portion where there's not a lot happening, right? There's not a lot of exciting things happening. And I think that people get it confused when I say that, right? I don't mean that an episode has to have knockdown, drag outs, wine throwing and table tossing and cursing out, although that does entertain me sometimes, right? When it's warranted, right? When it's earned, when there was a build up to this, when it serves a purpose and it moves the story, or when it's just completely unexpected, right? But the people who are not fans of Quad, I would love to know what you think. If it is due to the fact that she's not there, or if it is due to some other factors. I'm interested to know, one, are you a fan of Quad? Yes or no? And then two, do you feel like her absence is the cause of the lack of excitement within the group? To me, it would have been more beneficial to keep Quad, because then we could have seen her either try to mend some of these relationships one by one, and that would have also created a natural source of tension, because right now there is no real tension within the group, right? I think it's one thing to have a show where the women just don't like each other, like we talked about with Potomac, right? Versus you have a cast of people who clearly don't like one of the people, but one of those people wants to be accepted and is willing to do the work to make it happen. But also, too, I need to know that you're not just doing it because it's your job and you're not just here for the paycheck, that you actually are interested in making this relationship work with these women. But since Quad is not here, but she's still on that intro though, we will just have to move on, okay? Um, this episode was cute. It was cute or whatever, Um, lighthearted. I didn't feel like I was pressed to make a whole lot of notes, but that doesn't always bode well for the show in that regard. So let's get into it. Toya is playing tennis, and I know that we see this. It's a very brief scene, but I think it informs for me a lot about Toya. Number one, I feel like those ladies who she's playing tennis with are probably more interesting than not. I think that the real tea is in that tennis group. I do. I feel like something going on with them wives on that Wisteria lane that Toya lives on, based on what we saw from Anila last season, that I just feel like we're missing out on this show, personally. Okay. Dr. Jackie is back with the Brat and Judy. I guess that's the story for her this season. Judy's still telling on what the Brat is eating. Okay. There's not much movement, right? Throughout the show, let me discuss it. Throughout the show, we see the same thing happen from last week. We know Dr. Heavenly is still trying to work things out with her sister, but we still don't see the sister. Will we see the sister? I don't know. Simone is buying properties for the boys. That's still in play. They just moving in now, and they're throwing condoms around. Okay. Dr. Jackie is still preaching about uh, maternity mortality rates, and the conversation with Kamala Harris. In light of what has transpired, it is very interesting that we're still going down this road with Dr. Jackie. Now, I guess because the issue is still of prime importance, and I'm not trying to diminish that in the slightest bit, it is just very interesting to watch her maneuver and speak about in light of what we know came out at the end of December that won't be addressed until the reunion, if at all, right? So it's interesting to see that we're still plugging away on that. No real other movement in it other than the conversations coming up on any of these stories. I mean, we're just seeing them kind of plug along and make little movements here and there, right? But there's really nothing new going on. Except for Toya and Eugene. Nothing new here either. Toya is still complaining about the lack of romance that this man is providing her. Okay, and I know I want to make it clear, providing her. Now, I'm not trying to diminish what Toya does during the day because I don't know what it is. I do know that she's playing tennis for a couple of hours, and maybe that's causing her undue stress and anxiety. I don't know. But when you couple the fact that, isn't Dr. Eugene an ER doctor? Or does he have his own specialty? Did he switch? Regardless, I can only imagine, right? I can only imagine what that is like. I mean, speaking as someone who is essentially married to medicine in a different way, my lens on this situation is very different. Okay. I do believe that there is a certain amount of patience that comes with being the spouse of someone who is married to a doctor. And I do understand that there is a bit of sacrifice that goes along with that, i.e., maybe Toya, you need to be the person that plans the dates at this point, especially since you are going to complain ad nauseum when he does rectify the situation. So let's talk about it. I guess they're tasting wines, and for Dr. Eugene, it sounds like he views these moments together, even when they're in the home, he's pulling out her tracks or tasting wine as like date nights, right? But for her, she's like, no, I want to get out of the house. I want to be wined and dined. I want your focus to be about me. Okay. So when it is a date, she needs to clarify, make the date about me and not about you. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it count if it is about something that you like to do, which is cooking. So she complained they had a moment of tension when he was making breakfast for dinner, which, oh my. Listen, you ain't even got to cook, girl. He doing the cooking. You sitting over there tasting wine. I empathize with Toya in the sense that there is maybe a sense of romance that she is looking for, but it just kind of feels to me like he's being forced to do all of the work. He's got to do the planning. He's got to make sure that the date ain't about him. It's got to be all about her. And it's like, girl, you live a life of pampered privilege, okay? Pampered privilege. And listen, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But what you should not do, in my opinion, and I don't know their marriage, I'm only judging based on what I see on the TV and the continuous complaints, even when he does fix the issue, you complaining because he's spending too much time with the chef. He looking at the chef like he want to have relations with the chef, is what she's saying. Oh, the dinner was good, but I wouldn't come here for my birthday. Oh, this meal is decent, but I'm gonna get this date like a 7. I mean, it ain't all that. You in the place with a private chef making you a meal. It is outside of the home. You definitely ain't paying for none of this. What do you want? Like, it just seems to me like she's unhappy in general. Like, what do you need? What more do you need? And again, I'm not in the marriage, so I know a marriage is more complex than what we can see on a TV screen. I am only basing this on what I see on the screen, okay? And what we heard last year, she was complaining, and maybe the year before that. So it's just like complain, complain, complain. Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you make a date night to some place when you know he done worked 7 days a week or whatever like that? And I do feel for her because I feel like she is probably experiencing some level of loneliness, as we did see the flashback from last season. But I do think that they've got to figure out another way. And when he does make the effort, you can't complain about it. Like all these little slide comments about, well, it could have been better. This ain't about me. It needs to be about me. This is about you. You want to cook. Don't you want to eat? Okay, don't you want to eat, girl? Don't you want to eat? Because don't look like you cooking that much when you at the house. Okay, he look like he cooking. If he getting off work and he cooking at the house, what do you do all day that is the kids are in school, okay? You playing tennis for 4 hours a day or however many hours you playing. You got the nerve to complain after this man been working all day and you just been like, and I get it, you running your business, and I'm not taking away from that, but like maybe the date department needs to be your department for a while. And maybe it was like that. I don't know. I can't really say, but it was just the continuous complaints that was just getting on my nerves, okay? Getting on my everlasting nerves. And if you are so unhappy, do you ask yourself, do you need to be with this man? You keep talking about re-getting to know each other. If you are that unhappy, do you need to be with this man? That's something that you need to ask for yourself. Maybe you don't need to date a doctor. Maybe you need to date an e-commerce millionaire, okay? Somebody who can be there for you and just treat you like a kept wife. And I'm not saying she don't deserve that. You get what you believe you deserve in life. So maybe what you need is somebody else. And I ain't trying to tell these people to break up or nothing like that, but you just seem real unhappy. And it don't seem like whatever moves he make, no matter how big or small, and they never gonna be right unless it is everything about you. It needs to rain champagne from the heavens, okay? He needs to make it rain champagne from the heavens, but you can't get wet, okay? She can't get wet. She need to be able to drink it through a straw as it's raining down. He need to make sure the straw is in her mouth so she can, digest it. He need to hold her throat ever so delicately so she can able to swallow the champagne that he done made rain from the sky through the straw, okay? This is what it sounds like she wants, okay? Oh, and then pump and grind her down every night, twice a night, 5 times a night, like Larsa and Marcus from Real Housewives of Miami. Okay. Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon are reminiscing by the pool over Alora leaving. I get it. There's a build up to the leaving of the college, but I don't know how many more times we can emphasize this point. I want to see some other things going on. Like, I don't know, something else. I want to see, can we do something at Dr. Heavenly, a beauty supply store? We had a fashion show, a hair show there one time. Let's show me that. Okay. I don't know. I would like to see how she manages all 5 of these dogs. That's what I like to see, because having one is enough for me. Anyway, it was nice to see Dr. Damon get emotional about Alora leaving, but I feel like that's not the first time we've seen it this season. So, like, what else we got? Y'all could have cut this episode, to be honest with you, in general, except for the stuff with Toya and Eugene, because I feel like that really showed me something right there about their relationship and about her. That's just me. Phaedra meets with Dr. Alicia for brunch. They recap the recent Cash trip, and Phaedra felt like it was awful. Two key points. Phaedra felt like a weight had been lifted off of the group now that Quad was gone, and she just couldn't believe all the stuff that Dr. Heavenly has said, that Quad said about her. I would have liked to have seen the follow-up on that friendship. What does Quad feel like? We're not going to get that until the reunion. We don't get any further development on the two of them throughout this season, and they were positioning them as freaking frack as when the season first started. I don't understand that. Anyway, and Phaedra says after all the time she stood up for Quad, and I'm like, okay. She feels like Quad stabbed her in the back. We're not gonna get no resolve on that to the reunion. Dr. Alicia brings up the Reiki and how much it helped her, and Phaedra wants to do Reiki on the girls. Sweet Tea is cooking and churning butter for her man. She is making the maple syrup and the yams, the black eyed peas, the beans, greens, tomatoes, all the things. And she put everything on a big old plate, slopped it on there, and handed it to her man. And he just like, yeah, give it to me, baby. And she, here, daddy. Okay, so she wants him to get his sperm check. He said, my sperm is good, 20,000 strong, baby. Okay, she's still upset about her endometriosis. And I'm assuming surgery is coming up because she will tell the ladies about it later. We talked about the date. Now we get to the Reiki Center with Phaedra and the shaman Ra, who is also an ordained minister who Dr. Simone cannot keep her hands off of. So side note, let me talk about Phaedra real quick, because I don't know if you guys have seen this show right here, The Traitors on NBC, the Peacock. So I was watching the Traitors yesterday during the day because I really wanted to understand. Actually, I wanted to sort of see what Sheree's contributions were to the show, and she fades into the background in spectacular fashion, which is unfortunate for her. However, Karma.org, somebody that shines is Phaedra. Phaedra completely shines in this show. And I won't give her part away. I won't give away much about, because it's only been 3 episodes that's out. I won't give away much about her on the show, except for the fact that she is very useful in this show. She is very much front and center on the show. She is very much present on the show. And it really shows that when Phaedra has something to do, she provides delicious entertainment. But I don't know if that entertainment is as delicious on Married to Medicine as it is on Traitors. And maybe it's the premise of the show, but she really leans into it and leans into the diabolical nature of the show in a way that is only teased on Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine provides a much tamer, innocuous version of Phaedra that's just kind of pleasant and chill. And one thing that she says in Traitors that I feel like is indicative of how she is choosing to be portrayed on Married to Medicine is, don't do too much, okay? Just enough to sort of make your presence known, but also not doing too much so that you play it safe. And that is exactly what she is doing on Married to Medicine. When she said that quote, I said, oh my God, she is playing the long game on this show, but it is not, unfortunately, the interesting game for me. Okay. So, none of the doctors, the doctors are all side-eyeing the Reiki because, they're Christian. So, I'm a Christian as well. But there are some Christians who are super Christians who feel like anything in the way of meditation, alternative medicine, holistic medicine is just like, is it of the Lord? And I'm like, you think that the Lord couldn't give these people abilities and gifts that may enable them to be able to help other people? I mean, it may not be science, but could it not be possible? All right. Anyway, Dr. Simone cannot keep her hands off of the man, the shaman, okay? Pastor Rob, okay? Pastor Troy, North Carolina. Anyway, Toya arrives with the new girls, aka Dr. Alicia and Sweet Tea, who she has now taken under her wing. And one of the other things that I noticed was Sweet Tea has been to Reiki before, and she mentions that the person who provided, I guess, the service could also see into the future or read her future, and was saying something about a man with money, and Sweet Tea get the giggling, and the lady told her that she likes men with money, and Sweet Tea get the giggling, and it kind of just goes back to this idea or this notion that some of the ladies are kind of like, not even just the ladies. I mean, it's not just the ladies that's running with it, but it's stuff that Sweet Tea has indicated before. Like, you know, an indication that she ain't messing with no broke, okay? She has her eyes set on the prize, baby, and that man got to have some money. Now, let me ask you guys a question in the chatterization. Do you think that that's wrong to look for a partner who has money? And maybe a little good credit too. Is that wrong? Is it wrong to have on your list of things that you want a person or a spouse to have money? So when we look at Sweet Tea, then my next question to you is, when we look at Sweet Tea, is she really any different in that regard to any of the rest of the ladies? Do you think Phaedra would want a man without money? Okay. Do you think Toya would want a man without money? Do you think Dr. Heavenly would be with a man without money? I'll wait. They just probably wouldn't say it on TV. Quad. I looked online on the IG story the other day, and Quad was boarding a flight to Paris, and she was saying it was the third country, and I think about 2 weeks or whatever like that. And you know, she got to Paris and was eating the escargot. And I was just living through the IG story, thinking about my own upcoming vacation. And I was like, yes, Quad, go and live it up, okay? And I know Quad ain't dating no man without no money either, okay? Anyway. But it just be funny when Sweet Tea said, get a little access to the money, you know? Anyway, so they do the Reiki, they get the Reikiing, okay? Toya feeling it in her feet, and Dr. Heavenly feeling sensations. Dr. Simone sleep, probably daydreaming about Pastor Ra. Anyway, Dr. Heavenly does an individual Reiki session, and you know, the rest of the ladies go outside. Sweet Tea talks about, you know, that she got the cysts, and they discuss the risks associated with having surgery to remove them. And Dr. Simone advises that Dr. G get a semen analysis, and he already got the semens, and it's 20,000 meters under the sea or something like that. I don't know. Dr. Heavenly is feeling all the things in her session, and Phaedra asks the shaman, can you leave for a minute so we can talk? Get on out of here, Pastor Ra. Let Simone fill up on you. And so then they discuss the energy that Dr. Heavenly is carrying around with regards to a conversation that she needs to have with her sister. Now, I do not know if Dr. Heavenly has spoken directly about this, because I have been really focused more when I'm watching her lives on other things. But does she, if we don't see this meeting happen, if we don't see this Ponderosa happen, I'm gonna be real mad, because it has been teased throughout. It seems like a through line right now, so I need to see the end result of it. Okay. Period. And then Phaedra and Dr. Heavenly return to the group. It ends very tamely. Even next week, it just really doesn't look like there's a lot much new going on. Nothing really exciting to me seems to be happening right now. Refer back to what I said earlier about what I think excitement means for me. Okay. So I don't know. With that being said, I mean, that's my review of Married to Medicine. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. I'm super interested to hear what you guys have to say, and how you felt about this episode overall. I'm hanging in there because it's still one of my favorite shows. So I think we just entered a little dry spot. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully it'll pick back up and things will get back to moving, and it'll get jumping once again very, very soon. All right, y'all. With that being said, that is it for this video. I will, of course, catch you in the next one.
So, Desiree Davenport, what are you hoping to accomplish with this show?
Honestly, I've lost everything in the most horrible way possible. And listen, I want it all back. I'm willing to build it piece by piece, and I mean brick by brick.
Oh, honey, she is done. I bet you a Birkin she doesn't last all season with us. Just watch.
I'm Misha Hill, and I'd like to consider myself the matriarch of this dynamic group of ladies. I mean, someone has to keep them under control.
I'm Davita Delaney.
I mean, I think I could teach these ladies a thing or two about how to get and keep a good man.
They said she was a gold digger. Gene, you did for me. I'm just really looking forward to being surrounded by other empowering bosses.
Yes, I know exactly what she's doing. And if she keep playing in my face, I'm gonna have to let out all her dirty little secrets just like she did to me. And I'm not playing.
Let's get this straight. If I brought you into this circle, I just as easily can take you out.
She ain't running nothing over here, okay? She needs to be worried about running that household and worried about why that husband of hers is never at home.
Oh, hell.
Ooh, child, this is about to be a mess.
Oh my God, I hate mess. What in the world did I get myself into?